Hello folks, I put this video up on YouTube for a very serious reason. About 20 months ago I had a 10-hour operation called a Whipple at Jefferson Hospital down in Philly. The doctor who did this, his name is Jordan Winter. I have researched this for over a year and a half and I did not need this operation. Not by 100 miles did I need this. I understand I'm not a doctor, so what? Doesn't make anything I'm saying not so. The truth is the truth. I had no more than an obstructed bile duct. I had 3 tests, one of them by Jefferson's own lab, all showing no malignancy, as in you do not have cancer. I was led to think that this was necessary and in my best interest, and it wasn't either one. I have records that have been tweaked, for lack of a better word. There are any number of far less invasive procedures that have successfully corrected a bile duct obstruction for decades. Decades. There's medication, there's bypass, there are all kinds of things. There's more, there's a lot more. But for right now, the bottom line, I have 10 to 1 that there have been many unnecessary Whipple procedures performed by Dr. Jordan Winter, and most likely Dr. Yao as well. Dr. Yao had done over 500 of them 3 years ago. Dr. Yao is his teacher. Maybe this is where Dr. Winter learned how to maximize every opportunity to the fullest. Not only to bill the government every cent you can for treatment, but to use a patient as a guinea pig for the hospital as well. Maybe this is where Winter learned how to do this. If you or anyone you know has had a Whipple by either one of these surgeons in the past 7 years, I want to hear from you. Please contact me at the website in front of me. It's WEBINHACKED, as in we been hacked, at Comcast.net. The sooner you do this, the better. I was led to think I'd be dead in no time if I didn't have this procedure done right then and there. I think that many were led to believe the same thing, whether it was the truth or not. Jefferson does way more of these procedures than anybody else. If this is what they do, if they can get within 100 miles of justifying it, that would explain why they do so many more, wouldn't it? I know what you're thinking. How can this benefit me? Well, I'll tell you. If your procedure was not necessary, this is Medicare/insurance fraud, and it's a felony. A Whipple does major, irreversible damage to your entire digestive system, let alone the brutal recovery you went through as the result of a criminal act by a state-licensed healthcare provider. And you are entitled to restitution for it. Any lawyer that says different is folding. Okay, how much? How much was your hospital bill? Start there. And it gets better. When you're sued for something you did deliberately, this is what warrants punitive damages. You're talking 3 to 5 times that hospital bill. The same as any lawyer would be asking for if the shoe was on the other foot. In other words, when he is convicted, a jury will have already found him guilty of the act you seek restitution for. It'll be open season on everything he owns, and the arrogant little punk deserves it. Dr. Winter provides testimony for lawyers on a regular basis, and he's very successful at it. They've made tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars via his mouth and wish to continue to do so. Therefore, not only will they not act against him, but do everything in their power to see that nothing happens to him. I have stacks of letters from lawyers, one crock of bull after another. Ridiculous, ludicrous comments, like juries lean for doctors. There would be no such thing as a MedMal lawyer, and yet the entire city is infested with said parasitic vermin. Every day you see it. Have you been injured by a doctor's mistake? Your suffering can make me money. Call me now. Every single day. Have you been hurt in an accident? Your misery means big bucks for me. Call me. Every single day I see this. And so does everybody else. I hear from them. You signed a consent form. So did everybody else who's ever sued a doctor or a hospital. You agreed to the treatment. So did everybody else. A lawyer named Bernstein, from what firm I really don't care, they're all pretty easy to forget, said in writing, and I have the letter, sir, go ahead and deny it. Necessary or not, you agreed to the treatment. So I guess that makes it okay for a state-licensed healthcare professional to do felony against the government. Now it gets worse. Not only one, but 3 lawyers, all doing everything they can to keep me from making my findings public. They have a better chance of going golfing with Christ next Tuesday. These are state licensed officers of the court. You are telling them that a felony has been committed against the state that grants him and the doctor license. And instead of encouraging you to go to the state medical board and tell them all about it, they did everything they could to shut me up. Fat chance, fellas. Fat chance. Many certified letters trying to protect him, but not one telling me go to the state. Not one. It's a safe bet that many others have heard the same bull if they had a problem with Winter. If this is the case, I want to hear from you right away. When you get a chance, search Michigan Cancer Doctor. His name is Fatah. He got 26 years. 26 years for unnecessary treatments and billing the Medicare for it. Go look if you don't believe me. On top of that, he had to pay back almost $15 million. If the government recovers money it should never have had to put out in the first place via your actions, you're entitled to a cut on it. This is the Whistleblower Act. This is why the nurse turned that Dr. Fatah in. The jury found that he had led patients to think what he would have them think, so they would agree to the treatments he wanted to give them. Necessary or not, going to help them or not. Dr. Winter has done the same thing, and I've got 10 to 1 that says he's been doing the same thing for years. I have another problem with Dr. Winter. I was told the recovery time was 2 months. I'm sorry, Giselle, I'm joking. I'm sorry. Yeah, right. I would become insulin dependent and lose weight. Other than that, I'd be fine. Never said a word about all the other quality of life diminishing consequences of this 10-hour hack job on your entire digestive system. I have 10 to 1, he never says anything to anybody. I'll email anybody that asks a copy of the consent form I want the state to force him to have before he does this hack job that doesn't work for Jack on anybody else. This form tells the truth about what to expect, even in the best case scenario. You have the right to make an informed decision, whether it costs him money or not, whether it inconveniences him or not. If you were denied this right, and I'm betting big time you were, I want to hear from you. Dr. Winter knows that all his lawyer buddies will do all they can to protect him, so he can go ahead and do as he pleases and not be held accountable like any other state licensed professional would be. In other words, nothing happens to him because we lawyers that he's a morbidly obese cash cow for say so. I don't think so, counselors. He's accountable like anybody else, whether lawyers like it or not. Dr. Winter is guilty as hell, and I'll prove it. All his lawyer buddies know this as well, and I will prove that statement here and now. I've extended this invitation to many lawyers, and I will do it again publicly. Any lawyer. Martha Santangelo, David Wowashin, Elliot, I'm upset because I ran out of O-game, Olin, go to the court willingly. Tell them that you demand a jury just as hard as I do. Tell the court you're outraged by my allegations against this gifted surgeon and a quality human being. Your conscience just won't let you sleep until a jury set the record straight. Go tell the court that. I know. I need expert testimony. You will have experts appear on his behalf. I have the right to depose these experts before the trial, and at that deposition, they will back up everything I say. This is easy. Just ask questions that I can already prove the answers to. This is over before it starts. The burden of proof is more likely than not, as it is in any civil litigation. If they couldn't bill the Medicare, I would have been in and out of that dirty hole and fast as cheap as possible. Fast and cheap as possible. Ask yourself, is this more likely than not? Only by about a mile. They went to great pains to make sure they could bring a claim against the Medicare and then never filed it. I was told by the Medicare fraud hotline that because they had not submitted a claim, and this was 6 months later, by the way, they couldn't investigate. Rather than face an investigation, they'll eat a $500,000 hospital bill. This is an admission of guilt by itself. An admission of guilt by itself. Their own actions meet that burden. If you haven't done anything wrong, why ain't they up there wanting their money? There are only two possibilities. One, winner is guilty as hell, just like I say, and they know it. Or a guy that never made it past 8th grade can take any of the city's fiercest litigation specialists in front of a jury and kick your teeth in using nothing but your own damn people. One of these is true, one or the other. I guess we'll have to wait and see to find out if anybody who's willing to do this. Something's telling me I shouldn't hold my breath. Don't be afraid. This is very important. Don't think yourself, oh, I won't be able to get another doctor. Why not? Nobody has to know who you are. Nobody has to know a word you say. No one. Nothing. If you're good with the computer and you know how to link this video with Facebook or Twitter or anything else that would let more people see it, I would be eternally grateful to you for that. If you know how to make it so, if you Google Winner or Whipple, this will come to the top. I would love you for that as well. Please do so. I'll be taking a copy of this video to every TV station in town. On a slow news day, somebody will say something. Please don't let this happen to anybody else. If what happened to you has happened to me, you got screwed royal. Don't let them get away with it. Please contact me as soon as you can. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and have a nice day.